Today is the day. So yeah, guys. This is my Ice Fox. Today we're gonna look at the most creepiest kid drawings. But in case something goes wrong, you already know we got the Hidden Leaf headband, yo. We got this Hidden Leaf's headbands, and we got my Ice Fox. Yeah. Last video, I had Tachi's headband on, looking at the Try Not to Laugh. I think. Did I? I don't know. But today we got the Hidden Leaf. Anyway, without further ado, wait. Oh, my blanket. I can't pick my blanket. There it is. I think. Okay, I got my blanket. Without further ado, let's go ahead and do this.
Creepiest things kids have said. Now let's take it a step further and look at some of the creepiest things kids have drawn. The person who posted this has a cousin who babysits a child who is not very fond of her. This was what she found on his desk. Hopefully she didn't babysit this kid again. This picture's titled, "When You're Cut Up While You're Sleeping." I guess this brings up the question if the kid was supposed to be the one sleeping or the one doing the cutting. In this picture we see some kind of tower titled Crazy Big Tower, and there's a door on the side labeled Suicide Door with a line of 7 orange figures waiting to jump out apparently. And outside waiting for these suicide jumpers is apparently some kind of lava guy who will surely burn these guys to a crispy painful death. Inside of the building there's also some kind of giant man labeled Maniac Man.
Oh, wait. So he said that they gonna burn him in the hood. Burn me, that you gonna roast. And I jumped there. When you roast me, I'm gonna roast you. You want your little stick figure looking wrong? You got French fry for a hair. I'm gonna cut it out looking wrong.
And next to him are his much smaller victims. What was going on in this kid's head? "You will die," followed by a picture of a small person speaking to some strange orb-like object under what appears to be a cave, or maybe a mouthful of razor-sharp teeth about to chew them to pieces. Who knows? If I caught a leprechaun, I would kill him. Sounds like this kid is growing up in a nice and inspirational household. This is just disturbing. It seems in this picture, a little girl and a parent have apparently just committed a massacre in a coffee shop for no apparent reason, with people cheering for them on the right. This kid thought it would be fun to draw a mutant man-eating mouse. Hey, does that sound familiar? The girl next to me is pretty. I collect her hair. This one is actually disturbing because the thought of somebody sitting next to you, secretly cutting off your hair just to fulfill her sick hair fetish, may also lead to a collection of something much worse than hair. Everyone starts somewhere. A mother found this drawing made by her 7-year-old daughter on a piece of napkin. The mother asked the daughter if the taller figure was supposed to be her, but the daughter actually revealed that the figure was what her imaginary friend looked like. This kid has apparently been taught that all atheists go to hell. I'm sorry, is that meant to scare kids into believing things? This one is rather disturbing, as we see a child and their father dancing about on his or her mother's grave. Even the son seems to be happy about her death. It has to make you wonder what was going on in this kid's life to be happy about their mother's death. This picture no doubt shows a mother about to maliciously run over her husband with her car. This could mean several things. Perhaps the kid's parents fight a lot, or perhaps the kid might be angry with his father, and this picture was only wishful thinking. This kid loves Satan. This one is really disturbing. From the demonic hellspawn creatures swarming the girl's bedroom, to the "fuck you, Emily" and "die" written in the background, you would think this would be creepy enough, but there's actually a horrific background story to this. When the parents asked the child who Emily was, he stated it was his dead sister. This child did have a sister named Emily who died at the age of 5 when he was only 2.
Okay, I'm sorry, but this ain't the heck? What you doing? Better not turn on me. Alright. though this ain't getting me scared whatsoever. So it's just something. I know something that will. Hey, oh God, I'm gonna get this out of the way. Okay. All right. Creepy 2 horror stories. Alright, let's do this. That was lit.
I was having a horrifying dream, possibly the most disturbing nightmare of my life. I was in my house, or the closest thing to my house that my dream could produce. Ironically enough, I was in bed in this dream, or at least I can only start remembering past the point of my lying in bed. And all of a sudden, the sound came from downstairs. I walked downstairs in the dark, not turning on any lights, to where I thought the sound was coming from. I was on my middle floor now. The dream was telling me to go downstairs to my laundry room, and so I did. But as I got there, expecting the noise to be louder and closer, it sounded like it was just as far as before. Now I was going upstairs to the kitchen, and it's strange, outside of every window was complete blackness. Not general nighttime darkness. There was nothingness. I think all that existed in this dream was my house. Now my dream started to suggest that the banging sounds were coming from upstairs, so I went back upstairs and was eventually led to the attic door. It was surely beyond that door. I opened it. There was an old woman standing by a bunch of boxes. She was slowly but loudly slamming her hand on one of the boxes, producing an unnatural sound. I tried to quietly step back away from the attic, but the old woman turned around, opened her mouth twice as wide as anyone humanly could, reached out her arms, began to scream, and leaped toward me. That's when I woke up. I thought it was just a horrific dream, but when I heard a bang coming from downstairs, a bang similar to what I heard in my dream, I felt my heart completely drop. On my way downstairs, there was another bang. It was the front door. I got the butcher knife from my knife holder in the kitchen and crouched behind the door. I was waiting for the next time he would pound on the door, and I would warn him to go away. I waited for a good minute in silence, and finally decided to take a quick look through the window. There was somebody standing in my driveway. I couldn't tell if he was facing me or looking at me or not, but he was surely the one who was pounding on my door at 4 in the morning. He walked away down the sidewalk moments after he must have noticed me. The pounding on my door was the kind of pounding you would expect from someone trying to break in a door, not to get a house owner's attention. I thought it was just crazy and horrifying that the pounding and banging from this potential robber or killer didn't wake me up, rather became the key point to a horrifying dream. Ever since I can remember, we've always had one of those old vintage Parker Brother Ouija boards sitting in our closet collecting dust. When I was a kid, I always wondered what it was. From the box, it seems like a horrible board game, until one day I found out what a Ouija board really is, and immediately dug it out of the closet. I insisted on my brother trying it out with me, and eventually got him to play along. We put our hands on the planchette, and I began asking the typical cliche questions like, is there anybody there? And can you answer me? Other than my brother jokingly moving the planchette around to imitate an answer from some kind of entity, there was no real response. After getting bored, we put the game back in the box. I did a little research that night to find out how to make Ouija boards work. Many people said online that the most ideal environment when using a Ouija board is in a dark room only lit by candles. So when my parents weren't home, I managed to gather like 6 or 7 candles and convinced my brother to try it one more time. I lit the candles and set them around the table in the dining room with all the lights out. We tried one more time. I asked again if there was anybody there. The planchette began to move. I told my brother to stop moving it, but he swore he wasn't. I told him to move his hand away, and he did. It kept moving. My brother thought I was messing with him, but I didn't pay attention. The planchette landed on the word, yes. I was only 9, so I was legitimately shitting myself. My older brother had to take over. He asked the question, are you a good spirit? There was a 5-second pause before my brother's hand moved along with the planchette to the word, no. We both looked at each other, and at this point I ran to my room and shut the door behind me, but he continued on with the so-called game. I heard his muffled voice come from down in the dining room, when all of a sudden I heard him screaming at the top of his lungs. I ran back downstairs to see what was wrong. He was holding up his shirt, revealing a small open wound that almost looked like a claw mark. He told me to set the fireplace immediately, and I obeyed. He threw the thing in the fireplace and told me to never speak of what happened to anybody. We have never used a Ouija board since. I'm 27 years old. I live alone in a rural town in Virginia, about 2 blocks away from my parents. My parents are both in their 60s, and my mom has become a very worrisome woman in her old age. Sometimes she walks over uninvited and lets herself in, since I had regrettably given her a key, which can get a bit annoying. Like if I would be out really late on weekends at a bar or with women, I would sometimes come home to my mom sitting in the living room waiting, worried sick. I know you may just think, oh my god, that's crazy, why not just put your foot down and tell her to stop? Well, because you don't know my mom. It's very hard to describe her, but she's the kind of worrisome, innocent little lady that you just can't bring yourself to go against. And I hate to mention, she also has mild dementia. Anyway, this was Saturday night. I think it was around 2 in the morning. I was at a nearby club with a group of college friends, really the only place to hang out in this boring town, and I was getting ready to head home. I said goodbye to all my friends and walked the 3 blocks it took to get back to my house. I walked up my front stoop in my drunken haze and dug my hand in my pocket for my keys. When I grabbed the doorknob, I realized it was unlocked. My mom was here again. I quietly opened and shut the front door, locking it behind me. I put my keys on the kitchen counter and found a note written in my mom's handwriting saying, "You forgot this at our house, next to the box of half-eaten cake my parents didn't want." I didn't see my mom anywhere, so I assumed she must have gone upstairs to sleep in the guest bed until I got back, which is something she would commonly do as well. Then I heard footsteps upstairs, confirming it, and that's when I sighed once again. 27 years old, almost 3 in the morning, and she still has to wait up and treat me like a child.
Morning is a bad time.
I ran upstairs to check the guest bed, empty, along with all the bathrooms. I was afraid Mom was having one of her episodes due to her condition, so I ran to the phone to call my dad. After 4 rings, my dad picked up in a groggy voice, asking what the hell is the matter. After I told him that I heard...
Alright guys, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't know how you would, but remember, you have got to sprinkle some holy water on your bed tonight. Because, I don't know, but just do